Well, I think I was the first of this genre, and I was there 10 years alone until along came Joan Rivers. It was in 1955. It's a long time ago.
Was it a rough time for you?
No, I say it was a long time ago.
Was it rough?
Oh, there's nothing easy about comedy, ever. I don't. Some people make it look so easy. I haven't found that yet. But it's like brain surgery. It's difficult. In fact, brain surgery is easier because it's predictable.
What kind of hurdles did you have to overcome being one of the first?
Poverty, for one. Well, just not knowing what. There's no such thing as a good beginning comic. See, now Red Skelton started when he was 10. That's a good time. See, I waited till I was 37. It was difficult because you first have to be born a comic. You have to definitely be born that. It's something that goes wrong in childhood. And that's about the way it is.
I saw you make an appearance on Groucho Marx show. They rerun those. At that point in your career, were you were not yet a comic?
Well, I had been working for 1 year, and that was my first national television experience, and it was 1956, and they keep running it to keep me humble.
What do you think of the new quote-unquote raunchy comedy that has become very popular?
Well, there's that fine line, and each person has their own fine line. See, it isn't the same for everybody. It's very different for me because I'm known as a mother and a grandmother, and I can't get by with anything except in private.
Phyllis?
Yeah.
Getting back to the same line of questioning, do you think that comedians have to be more caustic today in order to get the attention, since it's even more competitive today?
Well, I don't believe that any individual in the world should feel that he's in competition with anyone but himself. Because, you know that own thing, to thine own self be true. The more you can become, the quicker success will find you. Because I don't think we should think of it in terms of competition and having to do anything to get there. Being you is the main thing. You see, the more you can be, and that's in any walk of life. It's when you try to be somebody else, or you compare yourself to people, and why can't I do that, and they do better than I do, and all that stuff. That's really, really deadly stuff. The quicker a comic can find a persona, then he's on his way. But you know, when you first start out, the audience teaches you most everything you're ever going to learn until you start getting really smart. But you learn from the audience what they will take, what they won't take. I have learned recently that the audience does not want to hear Barbara Bush jokes. And when I said that her swimsuit calendar was not moving, because you see, they are in love with Barbara Bush. And you see, you have to, some people can say something nasty about somebody else and it's accepted, and then somebody else can say the same thing, and it depends on who you are. So that's why who you are is terribly important.
What kept you going during those tough times? And is it the same sort of spirit that motivates you now?
No, it's different now.
What was it then?
Well, it was, I threw my hat in the ring. And it's like saying, I'm going to do this. It's like signing a contract. I signed a contract with myself, and I would not give up. There were many, many things that would have made a normal human being give up. But I had committed. I was committed.
Who were your original comedy heroes?
Well, what was Bob Hope, people like Bob Hope. See, I was listening to radio. There wasn't any television. In fact, I remember when there wasn't any radio. And you see, it was a very boring life, and for a child I listened to, Rudy Valley. In fact, as I recall, I had a big crush on him, and until I met him. And then, Fibber McGee and Molly, you wouldn't know these shows, you're too young, but it was radio, and we listened, you know, because I always loved comedy. Well, I even watched Charlie Chaplin in those old movies, you see. He was a great comic. I was devoted from the start. I mean, besides, I know what happened to me. My mother taught me jokes. When I was a little kid, taught me jokes. Now, God bless her.
Was that a kid that always remembered all the jokes and you knew them all?
Well, not excepting if I had a heavy date, I would memorize a bunch of jokes because you remember how I looked. No, really, I depended on other things than beauty. But in a way, it's such a wonderful payoff because you can get fixed.
help us give a birthday greeting to Bob Poe, who will be 86 on Monday.
Oh, tell me.
And
We're rolling.
You're rolling? I say happy
Left
birthday.
move. Just a birthday, you may want to think for a second.
Shouldn't I look right in there?
Exactly, right into the camera.
Happy birthday.
Talk to you.
Happy birthday, Bob. You are my favorite leading man. You're really Robert Redford with a laugh track. And I love you. Many, many, many more.
Thank you very much.
The way I am.
It's a pleasure to meet
Oh,
you.
how nice
Can
of
I
you.
ask you a couple of questions? Thanks. You're a popular lady tonight.
I don't know. They gotta do something.
Is comedy funnier today? Why is it so popular?
It's funnier. And we have an outlet for it now. It's television. See, television is responsible for this particular show, the Comedy Awards, because you can never work in with the Oscars because it doesn't work. You know, that's heavy acting. But see, no one knows what heavy acting comedy is. Oh my dear. And all comics, most comics are fine actors, or they couldn't do comedy. But you see, comedy is funnier now. It's freer, it's opener, and it isn't as formal, like joke. They take situations now and make huge bubbles of fun.
Do you do you think the audience is smarter? Is that part of it?
Of course they are. Oh, you'd have to know my relatives to know that. We're all getting smarter because of television again. There's more information. All right, look. Lincoln read 2 books, plus some law books. All right. Pilgrim's Progress and the Bible. I mean, and look how great he was. And now you see we have, well, I bought 4 books today, and here we have hundreds of stations. Now we have satellites. We're going to have outer space communications. Things are looking up. That's a joke. Hello.
Who's your favorite young comedian? Female, if you had to pass the female mantle
Oh
on.
dear, there's so many. Let me think, who did I see? Oh dear, there's so many. There's a lot of them here tonight.
Too hard to choose.
Oh, it's awfully, well, I didn't have it right on the tip of my tongue.
Let me ask you a couple of anniversary questions. 20 years ago, we landed on the moon. Do you remember where you were?
Yes. I was off the Sausalito Permanent Bay over in San Francisco, and I'll never forget because Nureyev was there in purple satin pants. I scarcely noticed the moonshot. It was well, I can't remember the suburb. It's a chic suburb over there.
What about
We were
Woodstock?
outdoors. It was wonderful. Woodside.
Woodstock?
Woodstock.
Did you go to Woodstock?
Are you kidding? That's not my bag. I like things that are controlled.
Well, thanks very much. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very
Have a
much.
nice
I'll
evening.
see you again.
Bye-bye.